Okay. Hopefully quality is better this time. We'll see. Chico's23 says, hey, what are you making? I'm trying to make a smaller jar for, I guess it's like a honey jar. So the other one was, the one that I made last on Thursday was probably a little too big. So I'm going to see if I can make a little bit smaller of one. And I might actually try to make it with like a, I don't know what it's called, but like a rim on the inside that you can sit the lid on top of, instead of, or having like a internal flange, I guess, instead of just a flange on the lid where it goes into the jar. Chico's 23 said, nice, that will look great. Thanks. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully better than, well, the last one, I think I did like the way that I threw it. I just think that it's going to be too big for a honey jar. Potty says, I'm back. Hi, Potty. Yeah, sorry, I had to restart my computer, and I think that helped with the connection. I think like half of my time is spent trying to figure out which tool I want to, or which rib I want to use to do some of this stuff. Okay. Not sure how I want to do this, but let's see if this works. I think that's probably as good as I'm gonna get on that. Let's see if I can get some of the water out, and then we'll move on to the 9 pounds. All right. Cool. That was my first time splitting a rim and like to make a locating flange on the inside. So I'll just have to make a rim, or not a rim, I'll have to make a lid for this later. I think this is probably a good size for a honey pot. Patti says, watching and working. Are you doing your pottery, or are you doing work for a different job? Kind of like how that turned out. Alright, here we go for 9 pounds. Oh, I think I forgot to weigh that last piece again, but I had it on the scale, so I probably didn't think about it. But I'm gonna grab the 9 pound of ball of clay. Alright. So I'll put this on the scale. So we got 9 pounds. This is, so last session on Thursday, I threw 8 pounds, and yep, still 9 pounds from when I just wedged it a few minutes ago. So let's get going. Patty said, I'm firing now. Oh, okay. And what stuff are you firing right now? Are you firing the lidded jars that you made before? Or do you have, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot more stuff that you fire at once. But Patty said, what about the lid for the jar? When I do lidded jars, I make them separately, and it's not really that interesting to make a lid on live stream, so I just decide to do the lids separately, like on my own time. So what I'll do is I'll let that jar, I'll keep it covered really tightly in like trash bag, like in a trash bag, so that it doesn't shrink much and it doesn't dry out much. That way, when I throw the lid, they're still kind of similar, like consistency, so that there's not too much difference in terms of the, like when while they're drying, so the lid doesn't shrink more than the actual body of the jar. So I will do it. Patty said, yeah, lots of stuffs. Takes about 12 to 14 hours. Yeah, I'm sure the wood firing takes a long time. Are you just doing a bisque fire, or is this a glaze firing? Pati said just bisque. Just a bisque firing. So for anyone who may be watching that maybe doesn't, there's not that many people watching the live stream right now, but if you're watching this video after the live stream, for anyone who's not watching, the bisque fire is just the firing from greenware. So which, like, it's after you throw it and you let it dry out, and then you fire it to a lower temperature so that the clay gets hard and it's still porous. And then you do a glaze firing afterwards, which that usually should close up the pores that are in the piece, and also allows the glaze to turn into kind of like glass on top of the piece, and makes things like food safe if you're making anything that needs to be food safe. Oops. The 8 pounds seem to center a lot easier than this is. We'll probably try doing like a taller centering again and open up a bit taller, because that seemed to work out pretty well. Pati, how far into the bisque fire are you? Did you just start it a couple hours ago, or are you a few hours in, most of the way through? Currently it's 674 degrees Celsius. What degrees Celsius do you end up doing your bisque firing to? Pati said 950 degrees Celsius. So you're not too far away. Maybe like halfway through. Pati said add wood up to 900 degrees Celsius, and after closing, damper temperature from firebox evens out closer to 950. Do you try to keep it at that temperature for a specific amount of time? Pati said, yeah, still it will take about 4 hours. Yeah, hold out the temperature for about 30 minutes. So 30-minute hold, and then slowly bring the temperature back down, or allow it to come down. Let's see if I can get some of this clay to move up. I'm probably going to try to do a finger pull on this one. never mind. Hati said, it takes time and patience to throw bigger pots, sometimes frustrating, but keep practicing. Yeah, I feel like last time, or on Thursday, the cylinder came pretty well, and this one is, doesn't feel like it's going as smooth, but that's okay. I'm going to try to get one more pull out of this. Maybe I'll see if I can do a little bit of shaping so that I'm not doing so many pulls. Maybe I'll do some shaping from here. Adirondack Earthenware said, good evening, how has the throwing been? The throwing's been really good. It's been fun throwing with more clay. I'm definitely enjoying this more than the smaller amounts of clay that I was throwing. How have you been? Potty said, throwing large is more fun and challenging. Yeah, it is. I definitely enjoy throwing these bigger pieces. Adirondack said, very good. I did a couple stream with my brother who is an oil painter yesterday. I'm trimming a 2-foot tall vase now. Oh, that's awesome. That's super cool. I think I made this too thin and I have it way too off center. I'm going to see if I can bring this back. Very wonky. Pati said you should leave top 2 inches a little bit thicker in auto work so you can work with shaping at the bottom. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably thinned out the rim a little more than I should have. But yeah. Let's see if I can salvage this at all. I'm just trying to see if I can make the walls somewhat even at this point. Let's see if I can color this in some. Ati said, make the bottom rounder and collar the top into long neck. It will look good. I don't know if, because of like me overworking it, I don't know if I could get this, like the bottom any more bellied out, just because because the walls are so uneven and whatnot. See if I can get this any. Any skinnier. Pati said, is this the first time you're working with this amount of clay? Yeah, I don't think I've ever worked with 9 pounds of clay before. So this is pretty new to me. Ooh. I'm probably gonna cut it there. That's probably as good as I'm gonna get with what I can do. Patti said, that's impressive for first time. I couldn't do that. Thanks, I appreciate it. I think like everything after like 7 pounds is kind of new territory for me because I haven't really used larger amounts of clay before. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this, is so that I could kind of get some more experience with larger quantities of clay. No, I have a mud tool sponge in here. Let's see if I can smooth out this rim a little bit. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. I am going to let this dry for a bit overnight, and then I will probably try to wire this off tomorrow and dump out all the water that's inside, because I didn't even try to take the water out. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Patti, always appreciate all the tips and tricks. I will be back again on Thursday, and I'm going to be throwing with 10 pounds, so that's going to be fun. And I'm not sure what else I'll throw. Maybe I'll throw the lid. We'll see for that honey pot. But like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. This is a vase, so fun. Also, you can always check out my Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, also TikTok, Instagram, all those fun things. But hope you all